Well, hey everybody, and welcome back to Kiki's Kitchen. My kitchen is a little bit in disarray this morning. I am cooking a big lunch for tomorrow for a group at church, and so I am making baked ziti and Italian sausage and meatballs and Caesar salad and rolls. So I'm making my meatballs today. Now, I'm making them in mass quantities. So I will give you, and I know I've showed you how to do this, but it's been a while. So I'm gonna take you along with me, but pay no attention to the quantity that I do. I'm going to give you what you would normally do for your family. Actually, it's probably a little bit more than that, but what I do is when I make meatballs, I make them and I bake them, and then I put them in the freezer, and then I have them for meatball sandwiches, I have them for spaghetti and meatballs, I have them for whatever I need them for. But today, I need them for lunch tomorrow. So when I start my meatballs, I have over here, and I'll get you there in a second, but I have hamburger meat and Italian sausage. Now you can do a combination of sweet Italian sausage and hot Italian sausage, but only if you know what your group is and how hot the Italian sausage is. The one that I love is at Aldi, and it is a hot Italian sausage. So I'm not using it. I'm going to use only sweet and mild today because I want to make sure that I think there will be children there. I don't want it to be too spicy for anybody. So if you know your audience, use the hot stuff. If not, just use sweet. So I've mixed. Now, when I make meatballs, and all of you people who make meatballs regularly don't have a stroke when I say this, but sometimes I use ground chicken. I love chicken meatballs. I'll mix them in with hamburger and Italian sausage. Today I'm not doing that. But you can use ground beef and sausage, and Italian sausage. The flavor combination is fabulous. Now what my mom always taught me to do when making that, or meatloaf, is to take, I have breadcrumbs in here. I have Italian flavored breadcrumbs. Actually, they're panko. And she always taught me to take my eggs, which I have eggs here. Again, I'm not going to give you the quantities because I use a lot of them. And I have my milk in here. I'm going to add my eggs to my milk. And kind of whisk them up together. And then I'm going to add this, and I'm going to add this to my breadcrumb. And actually, I would normally do this before I did anything else. Meaning before I chopped my onions, before I mixed my meatloaf up, mixed my two meats together, before I did anything. And the point of that is because I want the breadcrumbs to soak soak up all the liquid. So I'm going to give this a few turns because I have quite a bit of it. And I want it to soak up all of the breadcrumbs. And what happens by doing this, and what the reason my mama did this is, see, I'm just turning it so that I'm making sure that all the breadcrumbs are wet. And now I'm going to just leave it sit so that they soak into here. I'm going to put this aside for a second. So that they soak in, and then everything gets evenly distributed. It makes it easier to distribute it, but you don't have any dry pockets, and that's why we do that. The next thing I'm going to do is, I got a new prize. Amazon deal days are good for me too. My mother-in-law had one of these, and I have always been, I'd rather chop my own, I know, blah, 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 blah. But when you have a lot to do, seriously, this is the way to go. So I got this on Amazon deal days, and actually I put it on my page for that. And it's so awesome. First off, it comes with all of these different heads, you know, I mean, it comes with 4 different blades to julienne, and it's a great little thing. So look at my page if you're interested in it. So I've already done several, and because I'm doing a whole bunch. And all you do is stick it in there and press it down, and voila, it's done. A whole thing just with a press. With a press. course, gotta have my onion fall apart here. Put it on there. And it does kind of help. Oh, there goes my knife. Here we go. If, you know, you cut it into either halves or quarters, that certainly does help it go easier. You don't have to push it as hard. And I'm done, which this would have taken me, and my poor little crimped up hands, it would have taken a minute anyway. So here are my nice chopped diced onions, and then they're all uniformly chopped, all the same size. So let me put you down here and move my meat over here. So you'll notice I have it on a big old cookie sheet, because if you have this much meat, that's what you want. Oh, I need to get one more thing. Hang on one second. Okay, I need to get my seasonings. So this is my pan of meat, ground beef and Italian sausage, and I of course, I had some bulk Italian sausage, but I had, you know, most of it was in like a sausage in the casing. So I took my knife and ran my knife along the outside and peeled the casing off. You don't want that chewy casing in this. You want it all smooth. So then I took it and I just worked it together the best I could. And now I'm going to add in my onion. See how that does. I use, and everybody, you know, y'all use what you like. I'm a sweet onion girl. I love the flavor of onion. It's in most every savory dish I make. But I don't like overpowering onion. I really don't. Because it takes over the dish. I want it to be a part of my flavor profile. I don't want it, unless I'm making an onion pie, you know, or something, which I promise you I'm going to get to that onion pie. I did not anticipate, I was going to do it this week. I did not anticipate this lunch coming up. And so I'll get it. I promise I'll get it. I'll put a little bit more in. Put it all in. What the heck? Now I'm going to wash my hands. And before I do that, I have finely minced garlic. This is probably 4 big cloves. Now remember, I have several pounds of meat in here. And when I say several pounds, I think I have probably 5 pounds of ground beef. I probably have 10 pounds of meat here, because I probably have 5 pounds of ground beef. Let me get this water warm. It takes a minute to get hot, and I need it to wash my hands hot. 5 pounds of ground beef, and probably 5 pounds of sausage. So there you go. That'll work for the moment. Get my hands washed. I've got a big, giant pot of spaghetti sauce over there on the stove that I made earlier. And I'll have to be boiling my pasta, which that will be interesting, because I think I've got about 10 pounds pasta. So here I'm gonna, now remember how much I have here, okay, before you go crazy on how much salt I'm using. And I'm not going to use actually quite as much as I would normally use for this amount of meat and pepper, because I'm going to add Parmesan cheese to this, and Parmesan cheese is got its own salt factor to it. So let's stop there, and actually let's add some parm. This is freshly grated parm. good. And of course, oregano. As I always tell you, pour it in your hand, heel of your other hand, and just kind of crush it up. I will put more of this in here because, again, 10 pounds of meat. Not for you, don't worry, your recipe will be much less. But I'm telling you, having meatballs in the freezer is truly a wonderful thing, because now what I will do is I will freeze them and I will put them on a cookie sheet, the ones that I don't need. I don't know if I may need all of these, but the ones that I don't need, I'll put on a cookie sheet and let them freeze individually on a cookie sheet. And then once they're frozen, I'll put them in a Ziploc. Easier to store them that way. Okay, let's see. Okay, just because. Let me see if I can't use a spoon. Although I hate using a spoon. But just to get this, I really do hate using a spoon. The best tools in your kitchen are the ones that God gave you, and the ones that are at the end of your arm, and that's what I'm using. Because remember, I haven't got my breadcrumbs in here yet. But I just want to get this mixed down in here. It's looking good. I'm going to incorporate all of my cheese. Alright. And now to my breadcrumbs. Now I want you to see how this is soaked up. Do you see that? There is no liquid left. This will mix in so much better this way. Same when you're doing your meatloaf. Let your egg and your breadcrumb mixture soak together, and then add it to your meat for your. Quite honestly, I could turn this right now into a meatloaf. Which reminds me, we haven't had meatloaf in a long time. You know, it's funny because I make so many videos. You know, my husband will say, can we have such and such? I'm like, oh, I've already done that. So he doesn't get repeats sometime, I think, as often as he'd like. And he does like meatloaf. But I gotta say that there are things that are more winter things. And, you know, in the summer, he has a tendency to like salads and fish. Not that he doesn't like fish in the winter, he does, but I have a tendency to cook things that are hot. He gets home from work and he's so hot that he really prefers something not hot, like, you know, like shrimp or fish, something light. He doesn't like to eat big casseroles and stuff like that as much in the summer as he does in the winter. But I will tell you, he'll eat anything I put in front of him. He is not, I mean, within limits. He doesn't like celery. Y'all know that. Y'all know I sneak celery into him every now and again. It becomes a game. But all right. Almost. You just got to keep working it in. And these are not bready meatballs, y'all. They are not. Again, 10 pounds of meat, guys. You know, there's stuff down here in the middle that I haven't even penetrated yet. So let me get this all mixed up and I'll be back. Okay, so I got some things cleaned up here and started in on my mammoth task of making a jillion meatballs. So, and you know what? People will tell you, you know, you can buy frozen meatballs, and certainly you can, but I find that they're spongy. They don't taste good, guys. This is not hard to do. I do use a scoop, and I do like a big meatball. This will cook down somewhat, but I do like a big meatball, and this makes them all the same size, so it also makes them all cook at the same pace, so to speak. I have my oven heated, preheated at 375. And I am going to put these, I'm gonna put a big giant piece of foil on the top of these, and I'm gonna put them in at 375 for 45 minutes covered with foil. And then I am going to take them out and uncover them. I can get a few more in there. And let them brown up. And then I will put them in a foil pan, and that's where they will stay until I warm them tomorrow for the lunch. I think that's good. So let me wash my hands, and I will get right back to you. Hang in there. Okay, so these are my meatballs. I actually have 2 pans of them, soon to have 3. And so I'm going to cover them tightly with the foil, as I said. I've got my oven at 375. Sorry, I know this is noisy. And they're gonna go in for 45 minutes, and then I am gonna uncover them and let them brown for about 15 at 375. So I'm gonna end this video now, and I will show you a still shot of them when they come out, because I can't leave my phone open for that long. So these are really good. Make some, put them in your freezer. And I will actually, if I have any that I'm gonna freeze, which I'm not sure I will, but if I do, I will show you a still shot of that. So, I'll see you later, bye.